Well, I grew up in St. Louis, and I went to school at Parkway South, class of '94, and I loved being in Parkway schools. I went to Barrett's, and then Parkway South Junior, and then went on to Parkway South, and my time there was really incredible. I never felt like I was at a school where that I wasn't going to do as well as other kids, right? I never thought, oh, I wish I was at this other school. I always felt like Parkway South was giving me everything I needed in my education. In fact, there were a bunch of guys that we got together and we decided to form the Renaissance Man Club. And you had to be in art, music, theater, and one sport. And we finally filtered all the guys who wanted to be in it. There was really only 2 of us that qualified. And we were really proud of that club. The school that didn't grant us actual club status because we only had 2 of us. But so what I'm saying is that Parkway South was a great school for fostering a love for the arts for me. I certainly loved reading. I loved academic success, but I loved theater. I picked that up when I was a sophomore. Music, I played for years, but art, drawing, and painting were really things that were cultivated with the faculty there. Specifically, Owen Nagel was a great friend to my family, friend to my sister, and not only that, but an amazing artist and even better teacher that really inspired a love of discipline. And when you liked Mr. Nagel, right? He liked you, but he didn't favor you, and that's what made him a good teacher. And I remember many times of thinking I was going to have special status in his class, and not the case. And that was a good lessons. Some other teachers I loved was Mary Biggs in 5th grade. She was a great help. She was the first one who ever introduced me to Norman Rockwell. I remember her pulling me aside and saying, "Hey, this guy, he drew pictures for a living, and he was quite good at it, well known." And I remember looking him up and saying, "Oh, so." At that point, I thought if you wanted to draw for a living, you had to be an architect. So I was drawing. I just thought that was as close as you can get, because of course no one would pay you to actually draw for a living. But now I work as a full-time illustrator. I also teach at Washington University, and I'm a member of the Society of Illustrators, which was founded in part by Norman Rockwell, and so he's been a great inspiration to me. Other people, Ed Mahevic, an amazing teacher. Really, he's a guy that didn't teach just facts and figures, but taught you how to live a life that was balanced and had meaning and purpose. And I really feel like he embodied the idea that education is not producing a vocation, but producing a full person, a very full human being. And that's what I try to take as a model when I teach my students. I'm not teaching them art or teaching them a career. I'm teaching them art because I think it makes them a fuller person. And my work's all over the place. I do a lot of books. I do editorial drawings for newspapers and magazines, Rolling Stone, New Yorker, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Time, Newsweek. These places call me and they give me a manuscript to read, and then I come back with concepts and ideas, and then ultimately do a drawing to accompany the piece. So it's a kind of a weird career in that a lot of people don't know that the illustrators that draw these pictures actually don't work for those publications, but they're all over the place, and they exist as these floating groups of freelancers. But it is great fun. I really love it. I'm really passionate about my faith. I'm a Christian, and I go to a great church downtown, Grace and Peace Presbyterian. It's been a huge part of my life. I fence as well. I've fenced since I was, actually I still fence at the Parkway Fencing Club, which meets at Parkway Schools. It meets at Central Junior every week. And I started that when I was in junior high, and so that was my 4th qualification for the Renaissance Man Club. So I felt like that particularly fit the Renaissance part of that. But yes, and I have a 1-year-old son, actually 16 months, and he's unbelievable and amazing. My wife and I were busy running around the house with him just moments ago. So it's been a great joy. We lived in New York for 4 years, and we just moved back last year for me to teach at Washington University. So it's been quite a year for us, but it's a great trip. We're glad to be home in St. Louis. This is the highlight of my career so far, the Society of Illustrators Silver Medal for book illustration. I remember getting to New York and going to the Society of Illustrators building, which is this beautiful building founded by Norman Rockwell and many others, Howard Pyle back in those days when illustrators actually were millionaires and well-respected. Not that they're not well-respected, but it's a different segment of society today. Anyway, this medal patterned after the caves of Lascaux, so it's a little bull on it. And so anyway, I remember seeing my heroes, Rockwell and Kent, all these guys, NC Wythe, who won all these medals, and so I never really thought that I would be, one, a part of that organization, and two, to win a medal. So it was a great moment. And in fact, this year I was on the jury judging the show for awarding medals to other illustrators. So it's been exciting. In fact, just got back yesterday from that trip. Well, clearly I think my time at Parkway was great, but the best moment had to be my junior year, when my future wife and I were cast in the same play. And we were since in many plays we played. In fact, my senior year, we played George and Emily in our town, and even got married on stage at a play at Parkway South, well in advance of our actual marriage. But we have great memories of Parkway South, and truly great things happen there.